So welcome to they're taking away your culture, your pop culture, maybe your childhood. I hear that a lot. Do you? They're taking away your culture or your childhood. So what do you think? Now look, in this specific example, we're going to go to what else but Star Trek. Specifically, new Star Trek, new Trek, Paramount Plus Trek, Alex Kurtzman Trek. There's so many names, right? But the other day, I was listening to a podcast in general about entertainment and streaming, and they, as they're wont to do, brought up Star Trek, new Trek, the Paramount Plus that we've been getting, I guess, for 11 years now, about at least, right? 10, 11 years, a decade. And so the points were made, during sort of this round robin roundtable about the idea and the concept of taking away a culture. Now, I think that most people would agree, and I think most people would say that it's not so intentional. Is it? Are we talking about a conspiracy? Are we talking about truly, they're conspiring, twirling mustache that I don't have, but that this is a true thing? You could argue back and forth. Now, recently, a subscriber on my channel reminded me, I guess I had forgotten, that Alex Kurtzman, I guess maybe the early days when he took over from Brian Fuller when they was first doing Discovery, he talked about how Star Trek was a messaging platform, that in essence, it was far more than just a storytelling device, entertainment, pop culture. I mean, just like Star Wars or even the Marvel Universe, DC, there's many, right? It wears many hats, these franchises. They're entertainment, true. They become part of pop culture. Beam me up, Scotty. Live long and prosper. Was it May the Force be with you? These are things that almost everybody knows as part of pop culture now, and so it goes kind of beyond entertainment, right? It goes beyond, say, dare I say, geekery, comic books, TV, animation, video games. So now, the thing about Alex Kurtzman was that he said that it's the messaging that Star Trek has become for 50 years now, actually going on 60 years, right? The 2026 is the 60th anniversary, coming up officially in September. 60 years, 1966 to 2026. That Star Trek is so big, it is so beloved, that it's more than just a franchise and entertainment. It becomes a messaging platform. Alex Kurtzman is on record for that, and I think he said that messaging is now the primary thing that he wishes to bring to the universe. To, say, Gene Roddenberry's, and then later when Gene passed, Rick Berman, Michael Piller, Ron Moore, many of the creatives, Jerry Taylor. I got the pleasure of pitching to Jerry Taylor at Paramount Pictures. You can say that all these people, co-joined, they collaborated to bring us what Star Trek is. Now, by many, good arguments, that whole sort of framework has fallen away. It's also been argued that it's been destroyed, intentionally so. Now, you could say, well, look at, for example, Starfleet Academy. Everybody still keeps talking about it. Is that an intentional way of completely rewriting the universe, destroying the canon we know, or is it a way of introducing a new generation, because it is a young adult kiddie show, to the mid-late teen crowd, or even younger, say Saved by the Bell and Dawson's Creek, Sci-Fi or Star Trek. So I could say you could look at it as both. Certainly, I know that Paramount Pictures, the studio, is invested in new generations finding Star Trek. So you can argue that, is that necessarily the only reason, or is it because Alex Kurtzman or all the producers, the head writers, the showrunners want to infuse more of a messaging platform? It could be both, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. So give us your thoughts and feedback. I just think that the bottom line is, at a certain point, if it does not resemble, if it does not at all, resemble and is like what you knew before, there's huge risks and peril in that. I mean, you only have to look at the way certain DC movies and Marvel movies have performed. I know the latest one from James Gunn did all right, but I think adjusted for inflation, it either lost money compared to the Snyder versus with Henry Cavill. Perhaps it's a little ahead. The bottom line, though, is that if it's that weak and anemic in terms of performance, isn't that the complete kind of sea change from what we have gotten from, say, Christopher Reeve to Henry Cavill, even Brandon Routh in there, and then and now David Corenswet or James Gunn. And of course, for Star Trek fans, it's all about Alex Kurtzman, right? That's all we gotta say. Kurtzman Trek. All right, so give us your thoughts. We want to hear from you. I can ramble and yap all day, and sometimes I do, but we want to hear from you. So give us your thoughts and feedback. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you're subscribing. See you soon.
The best sci-fi on YouTube is the Sci-Fi Guy.